actions are by intentions. Uh, so, on the authority of Ibn Umar, Razi Anha, the Prophet ﷺ said, actions are judged by motives, Neeyah. So, each man will have what he intended. इसमें actually there are three parts to it. तो पहला part है actions are judged by motives, that is Neeyah. So each man will have what he intended. Second part, thus he whose migration, hijrah, was to Allah and His Messenger Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, Messenger, his migration is to Allah and His Messenger, but he whose migration was for some worldly thing he might gain, or for a wife he might marry, his migration is to that for which he migrated. So let me just explain this hadith in a more layman terms. पहले ये है कि पार्ट वन ये जो आपका निया आपके साथ. Niya is the most important point of a person doing good deeds. Part टू, अगर आप हिजरा मतलब माइग्रेशन, अगर आप माइग्रेशन migrating for Allah's sake, say भाई you know what, I am in the country where I see a lot of fitra, I want to move into a country that is more religious, that is for Allah's purpose. वो अल्लाह के लिए माइग्रेट हो आप. बट अगर मैं माइग्रेट हो रहा हूँ टू अ प्लेस ऑफ मोर रिलीजियस फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ डूइंग बेटर इन लाइफ, then that is for the betterment of this world, not for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You cannot have that reason to migrate. And third point इसमें यह है कि people who convert to Islam, what they're basically saying is आप convert करना for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not for marrying someone. That nullifies the whole purpose. Okay, and that is a very important point for us to understand. Scholars have come to a point, they have said a marriage जिसमें the person has married for the sole purpose of marriage, that person is not truly a Muslim. Right? Again, these are not my words. I'm just telling you what the scholars have said. Right? So, and basically, if you are married to a non-Muslim, your life is completely haram. आप हर कदम पे आप गुनाह कर रहे हैं. So it's very important. The third part is really important for us to understand that marriage has to be, when you convert to Islam, has to be the sole purpose of pleasing Allah. Because I truly want to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then I'm marrying the person. Right? वो निया है. So niya becomes the most important aspect in here. Part one, आप हर deed आप ही करते is for niya. Second part you're doing niya is for migration. You're moving to a country or a place or a city or जो भी है, for to be closer to a masjid, to be closer to put your kids into Islam. That's for reason for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But अगर आप move कर रहे to have better house, to have better thing, again that's a niyat. Your niyat is not to be near Allah, it's to more enjoy have better life. And third is marriage. Now the background of this hadith is in Bukhari and Muslim. Now scholars have said one of the most important hadith narrated is this hadith. Imam al-Shafie said this hadith is 1/3 of the knowledge of Islam. And he further adds, Islam is based on three fundamentals. Actions are by intentions. Whosoever introduces into his affair of ours, that is Islam, something that does not belong to it, it is rejected, that is bidah. Truly, what is lawful is evident, and what is unlawful is evident, and in between the two matters are which are doubtful, which many do not know. Again, I come back to this. Again, lawful becomes another point, doubtful point becomes. So Imam Shafii said, three fundamentals of this hadith are this, and 1/3 of the knowledge of the Islam is on this single hadith. 70 hadiths have been linked to this one hadith. That is actions by intentions. अगर ये हम समझ सके, this will really help us understand Islam as in a nutshell. At least 1/3 of Islam, right? So let's dive into this hadith and further understand what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala trying to tell us here, right? So पहला ये है, actions are based upon intentions. आपकी नियत is the ultimate thing that matters. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in there's a hadith that follows this as well. Okay, if you do a niyat, okay, I want to do something for the sake of Allah, Allah writes it for you as a good deed. But, and if you action it, Allah multiplies it tenfolds, right? And if you think of a bad deed, Allah will say, don't write it to the person yet until he doesn't action it, right? So actions are based upon the intentions. So there's a narration, I think Surah Bakara mein tha ya Surah Imran mein hai, where it says that Sahaba basically ask in Neeyah, they said, oh, Prophet of Allah, how is it fair that what if our heart has a lot of feelings, but we don't action it, we just think about it, but again we say it's bad. So then उस पे ये आया था कि only action intent, if you action it, then only it counts towards your bad. If you just do a niya, कुछ बड़ा सोचिए आप, it doesn't matter. Allah will not write it towards your bad deeds till you don't action it. But if it's a good deed, you get a point for it already, right? So now, point number 2, certainty is not removed by doubt. ये आप समझना है, it's very important to understand this point. Certainty is not removed by doubt. इसका एग्जाम्पल मैं दे रहा हूं आपको. When any one of you is in doubt about his prayer and does not know how many he has prayed, 3 or 4 rakas, then he should cast aside his doubt and base his prayer on what he is sure of. ये hadith मुस्लिम में है. तो बेसिकली ये अल्लाह बताना चाह रहा है कि अगर आप कुछ डाउटफुल है बट आपको सर्टेनिटी है कि आप करे हैं. एग्जाम्पल, अगर आप नमाज पढ़ रहे and you feel you have passed wind, right, but you have not done it, in that case continue your namaz. Doubt, so Allah is saying certainty doubtful को नहीं निकालती, right? So doubt है तो उसको avoid, उसको आप finish कर दो. But if you're certain about it, if certainty is more towards yes, I think I've done it, then in that case your niyyah matters, right? आपकी नियत है to do the right. It's better अगर if you're doubtful, just go and do it again. Again, that comes down to niyyah. The niyyah becomes very important part of this. Then point number 3, hardship begin with ease, brings about ease, right? Now what here means is when you're traveling, you have short prayers, right? अगर आप travel कर रहे, the niyyah is आप travel कर रहे. Again, people say, you know what, I've gone for 1 month. No, your niyyat is traveling. In that case, आपको Allah has made it easy for you. You have this 2 rakat है आपके. But if you know आप travel नहीं कर रहे, you're going for a longer purpose, then in that case you're not traveling, right? Then same thing with Ramadan. अगर आपको मौका मिल रहा रमजान में फास्ट करने का या ट्रैवल करने का, you can traveling आपकी can be moved after Ramadan, do that. But in the case where you have to travel, you have no option, in that case Allah has made it easy for you. You can skip that fast and do it when afterwards, right? आपको Allah has given you has made it easy for you. But again, it comes down to your niyat. अगर आप नमाज पढ़ना चाह रहे, if you have a pain in your legs, you can't bend, आप बैठ के नमाज पढ़ो. So again, niyat. If your niyat is there, okay, you want to do it, do it. So niyat comes down to a very important part of it. Then the scholars, what they've agreed is the scholars agree that the place of niyyah is the heart or the conscience. It is not the tongue. तो अगर आपके दिल से बात दिल में आप सोच लिए, it doesn't matter. But अगर आपके words or your hands action it, then it becomes actionable. So your words become really important for you. If you say something with your words, then you are basically actioning it. Even though you may say, I only said it. No, you saying it is actioning it. That is a very clear difference between what Allah has said. Your words will, when you speak, your words are your actions. So be careful of what you speak. It is recommended that only talk where you need to talk. Otherwise, keep silent. Right? So let's come down to the important parts of the hadith. Again, we'll break it down into multiple pieces. पहला है नियत दहाता is ikhlas, the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shahada, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. You are basically saying it with words, you're actioning it. There is no God except Allah, and Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is his messenger. Right? That is a Shahada which you are verbally saying it and you're actually meaning it. Right? Performing an act solely for Allah's sake, whereby no other witness except Allah is sought. ये है कि आप कुछ कर रहे हैं only for Allah's purpose. You're only there to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. आपकी नियत is what Allah is looking at. Right? You are trying to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the end. आप अकेले में हैं या आप दोस्तों के साथ हैं या आप फैमिली में हैं या आप कहीं भी हैं, आपके actions speak. Are you trying to do it for Allah or for somebody else? Ikhlas is important for us to understand. Niyat is आप जो भी कर रहे हैं is Allah and for Allah alone. You are doing a deed to please Allah. You are sacrificing your pleasures for Allah. Not because you're financially tight, you can't do it. No. It's because you don't want to do it because Allah may not be happy with it. Right? That is the niyat that you have to understand. And again, you're not trying to prove to anybody here. Allah knows what's in our heart. Allah knows the seen and the unseen. And it is only us cheating ourselves by making this false feeling about ourselves कि हम अल्लाह के लिए कर रहे हैं. Right? But अगर आप truly अल्लाह के लिए कर रहे हैं, good for you. And that should be our ultimate goal, is whatever we do in this world should be for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That comes down to the point of riya, showing off. Right? The opposite of Allah, for Allah's purpose, is riya. आप कर रहे हैं to show somebody. Okay? And as per scholars, this is considered as a minor shirk. आप शिर्क में चले जा रहे हैं. अगर आप कर रहे हैं for the purpose of pleasing somebody, you're reaching a point of shirk. Right? And the reasons why riya has become an important aspect is, I've made some points here. We do it to appear good in front of someone. हम करते किसी को दिखाने के लिए, अरे you know what, देख, look at me, I am praying, look at me how I pray, look at me how I read the Quran, look at me the way I do tajweed, look at my tajweed, look at the way I read Quran, look at the way you know what, I'm doing this, I'm helping this person, you know what, this person went to Shadi thi, I helped them out. Right? So that is what happens when it becomes you're trying to impress somebody else. You don't have to. You're trying to only impress Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To seek the praise of others. आप कोई बीमार है, कोई somebody is in need, you help them. Why? Because you want them to praise you. Listen, man, this person was so good to me. When I was in taklif, he helped me out. Again, your intention is completely gone. Right? Your intention was purely for the sake of pleasure from the person, for the person to praise you. The whole purpose of the good deed is gone. Then, to avoid being blamed by someone. Right? And this is for a lot of children. हम जो करते थे बचपने में, अरे नमाज पढ़ लो, बाप उससे महंगा. Right? हम लोग, नमाज was not important. हम लोग चाह रहे थे कि बाप उसमें नहीं आना, नमाज पढ़ लो. So we were trying to get away from the blame of a person when we truly are doing for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we should ingrain into our kids कि भाई आप कर रहे हैं, don't do it for my pleasure. Do it because you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You want to please Allah. That's it. You're not trying to please me. You know what? Today I'm here, I'm gone tomorrow. But at the end, you are answerable to your deeds and me to my deeds. Right? So Allah हमारा काम है, हम बच्चों के दिल में अल्लाह के लिए चाहत, इस्लाम के लिए चाहत लाना. Right? Then to seek the wealth and money of others. Right? आप कुछ कर रहे हैं, आप किसी को financial help कर रहे हैं, for the purpose that they will pay you, they'll pay you back, or you get extra money back and all that. Financially assistance. Then to seek the love of service for others. You feel कि अगर मैं ये करूंगा, करूंगी, they will love me. Purpose of a good deed